I'm Will Richards, and this is The Dash, an insight to the success story of people from all walks of life in their chosen field. If you're looking to level up, stick with us. This just might help. Dr. George, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having
First of your industry to be here. For those that don't know, let's just go through who are you and what is it you do?
Right. So I've been a chiropractor for 20 years.
Right.
And then 2016-17, I decided to go actually into aesthetics as well, just add it as part of the CV.
Okay.
Then that moved me into vitamin injections.
Yeah.
So now I've evolved into what you would call a kind of longevity specialist, as you will.
Yeah.
I'm not like the guys that you'll have seen.
That Brian Johnson guy who I mentioned online a couple of days ago.
Not quite like that. But I use chiropractic to allow the body to self-heal. We call it innate intelligence, basically. Yeah. So when you come to see a chiropractor, I look at your spine, I see what's out, and I then realign you.
Yeah.
By realigning you, I then give the body its best ability to heal itself.
Right.
And that's the kind of theory behind chiropractic. And then the reason I got into aesthetics was actually I'd done it chiro for so long. I just wanted to get a new skill.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed, I will fully admit it, I had Botox.
Right.
And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And having it done to me and went, oh, I fancy doing this. And then it was funny. I phoned up my insurance companies and things like that. Oh, I want to do that. Their computer says no, because chiropractic's not on the list.
Right.
I was like, oh, God. So I then went in my head and went, you know what? I'm going to phone someone up. I will phone an insurance company up. I'll tell them my degree and see what happens. So hopefully I'll get someone good at the other end of the phone.
Right.
I got someone good at the other end of the phone. They looked at my degree and they went, actually, yeah, you've got as many points as a GP.
Yeah.
So, we'll insure you. Go do a course. So I went and did the course. And then that naturally, once you're then qualified in injectables, you can...
Injectables is a word, isn't it?
Yeah. You can start doing many more things. And then it was the thing that really caught my eye was the vitamin injections.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And it was actually in COVID I started really doing them more because you've got more time. I started reading around them, and obviously we were all about to have jabs, and I started looking, what could help me not catch this?
Yeah.
Without having the jabs. I had the jabs like everyone did, and then it just snowballed. And it just got bigger and bigger. And then I found a huge correlation with my patients getting better who were having the vitamin jabs over the ones not having. Right. And they were getting better a lot quicker, a lot faster, feeling better earlier. And I was like, right, okay. So then that started evolving. And then finally, I just got to the point where in this country, we're all about ill health.
Right.
You don't come and see me until you're broken.
Right, yeah.
Which is quite sad. If you actually look at a lot of other countries, especially your Nordic countries, they're about well health.
Right.
That is, you go get a checkup. If we've got a chiropractor on the books, I don't care that your back doesn't hurt. Go have a look, go see him. He'll tell you if there's something potentially going to come.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's a great way to look at health. And actually, we won't get on this now, but if the NHS did well health over ill health, we would not be in the position we are now.
Right, okay.
Because you would catch things at the beginning, not at the end.
And saying that, I'd now think about it, that's actually a huge factor, isn't it? Well, I've never noticed it in the UK. We are reactive, not proactive.
Exactly that. And that's why we spend so much money. Because we're basically, you've already got to the worst point you can get to. And then it's like, well, it's damage control.
Yeah, you should have, hindsight is a wonderful thing. You should have fixed that earlier. Okay. So the good news, I guess, it's all good news, but the good news is that you are a self-practiced. So you obviously got the qualifications, but you did that because you had it yourself, these injections.
Yeah.
Was like, wow, this shit's great.
Wow.
And went forward from there.
Actually, it did even better, which I didn't realise it was going to do. So I started, so before, right at the beginning, I just did my Bs, I did my C, my D.
Yeah.
They're your typical, what everyone's heard
These
of.
are the vitamins, right?
These are the vitamin injections. So I would have those once a month.
Yeah.
And I felt better. So that's great. But then I, again, did some research and I came across NAD Plus from our good old friend that you talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
And a lot of celebrity, especially over in the States, they swore by it.
Yeah.
Your Kardashians, your Biebers.
That's where most of us have heard of NAD Plus, the Kardashians and Brian Johnson.
Well, again, they all have it IV.
Right.
And we'll get onto this later. But I was like, IVs are great. I'm qualified in doing IVs. And it's a long process. With NAD especially, it's an hour and an hour rest time. So you can't just get up after having an IV and walk off. You would not feel great.
Right.
You go sit in a chair for another hour. Well, that's 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Who's got that, really?
And then it turned out you can now do the NAD in IM. So when I say IM, that's intramuscular. That's straight into your arm.
So IV's intravenous.
Intravenous into the vein,
veins.
which most people have seen in films, and if not having had a little vein done themselves.
Yeah.
But these are just in your arm. They take seconds. Literally, if you've had a COVID jab, imagine how long that took.
Yeah.
That's how long an IM
Right, okay. So it's literally
injection takes.
quick bang done.
And then I thought, well, that's a much easier way of delivering NAD to my clients who have just had a chiropractic adjustment. It's like, right, you got 5 minutes, boom, there we go. And then it's like, well, hang about, you've got 2 arms, you've got 2 legs. What else can we help with the body? What works well as a trio?
Yeah.
And then I looked at glutathione. And glutathione's an antioxidant. You know, it helps get rid of all the nasties. It helps our cells not have the nasties come onto their cells. The nasties get taken away by the glutathione. So it's a really good cleanser, especially of the liver. So if you have a few drinks, it's a great one for the hangover.
Right, yeah.
But again, it has way more other things, boosts energy, helps your skin, and so on. So there was that. And then I was like, right, so actually originally I put in B12 into the mix then because there's they believe we are 80% as a nation actually deficient in B12.
Right.
And it won't say that, but the B12, the blood test you get doesn't pick it up.
Okay.
So therefore, it kind of goes unnoticed. We all think we're fine, but actually we are under because you haven't specifically gone and looked for that. And then you've obviously got your vegans who they don't eat meat. Fair enough.
Yeah. There's a lack of things.
There is a lack.
Nutrients and minerals
that in there. And so I went, right, let's try all 3. So then I did the trial. I did a year. So in 23, I started it. I went on one of the machines, got my metabolic age. I'm 43 and it said I was 41. I was actually I was all right with that.
Yeah.
Quite chuffed. And then I did all 3 once a month for 12 months. And then I think I was 5 days out, 5 days before or after, and did the metabolic age test again.
What did it come up with?
28.
That's
so I'm
crazy.
43 and I have a metabolic age of 28.
That's incredible.
And the only thing I did differently was take those 3.
Wow.
I still have my chiro, got friends in the industry, so they just do
Yeah.
that. And in that time, I had my second child, so there was not much sleep going on.
Yeah.
At the time, I had then 2 under 2.
Yeah.
We'd moved house. There was a lot going on.
A lot of stress.
And for my metabolic age to drop that,
Like 50%.
is just amazing. And that's when the cookie dropped, what is it? The penny dropped.
The penny dropped, yeah.
The penny dropped. And I was like, right, I've got to tell my patients, one, and it's up to them. I don't force it on them. It's like, this is what happened
Here's
to me.
an option.
I've done it. Why not try it yourself?
Okay, so just for those that may not be aware, we've all heard of metabolic age. Not necessarily what's the definition, but is it right in saying that metabolic age is referencing how young your body is in the sense of what stage of life your body is at?
Exactly that.
Right.
Internally.
Yeah.
So it's not I'm not going to look 28.
Yeah. You're not far off, mate. You're right.
But yeah, internally.
Okay.
So to get it down to that, then that's all about longevity.
Yeah.
You see, that's where it's I'm not saying I'm going to make you live longer.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if you have a metabolic age lower than the age you're at, when you're 50, 60, you're going to feel so much better. You're not going to be in that state of potentially feeling, oh, I've got this, I've got that, and it's just age. You won't, because you'll feel 20 years younger.
So I guess a good reference point for this is a lot of people in their lives have had a few beers too many, a few drinks too many, and they say the same thing, which is, oh, I used to be able to do this, and now I can't.
Yeah.
Now, this is bad, because it's not necessarily about hangovers and alcohol, but that's quite a good reference point, is when you've got the metabolic age at 43 of 28 years, if you were 28 now, you'd probably not have the same effects of exerting yourself exercise-wise, drinking, eating too much, whatever it might be. So to have that internal system being as young as it was and acting the same way it did at that age, that's a win-win, right? That's incredible.
Total. And that's when I went, well, let's combine that with... So what we said, when I remember when we were qualifying, the stiffer you get, the closer you are to death.
Right.
Because you're rigor mortis when you die.
Yeah.
So it was a great way of looking at the more mobile you are, the less you are to that process. So I was like, right, that's what chiropractic can help with.
Yeah.
So you come in, do a postural assessment, I manipulate, crack the joints, get that moving, and then you add this on top, and you really are looking at longevity.
Yeah.
You are looking at those later years in life, playing tennis, playing golf, doing the things you did that you thought you weren't going to be able to do, or seeing maybe your parents can't do it, but you will be able to. And let's face it, I mean, I'm 43, I've got 2 kids young, very young. I'm going to be 50, 60 when they are at the age of playing tennis, playing golf. I want to be able to do that with them.
This is a massive thing. So my dad, my brother's got 2 children, and when the first one was due, Charlie, my dad said, well, he's mid-60s now, just early mid-60s. And he said to me and my brother, like, I want to get back into it, keep my fitness up, because I want to be able to run around the park with my nephew, his grandson, my nephew, and so on and so forth. So I guess my question is, are you ever too old to be able to have these injections that can help you?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if you're looking at, there are parts of it, you can't think that'll change things. So your NAD it's classed as an anti-ager.
Right.
You know, I can't give a 70-year-old that and give them double doses every other day, and it just won't work like that.
Right.
You start, though, at an early age, and you are going to see that reverse effect, that effect where you're like, I feel fabulous when you're 60 or 70. And I genuinely believe, especially with, I hate the word, but Gen Z, they're already taking it on board. You know, I think there was some stats the other day on how much they're drinking less than any other generation before them. And therefore they are going to be healthier.
Yeah.
And they are doing healthier things.
Yeah.
And again, add this on top, and they're going to be the ones living to the hundreds, 120. They'll change all those stats moving forward, because, the smoking's gone, the alcohol's going down, the things that, do age you quickly or quicker, they're not doing. And they're definitely they exercise more.
I think going back to the Kardashians and Brian Johnson sort of thing, they were all found and made popular on social media.
Yeah.
Which is prominently run by Gen Z, millennials, and that sort of... everyone's on it. Yeah. But the sharing, the reposting, all that sort of stuff, that is mainly the younger generation, let's say, of 2025. Anyone that's kind of like 35 to 40 and below are the people that saw that and captured it, and especially the younger half of that bracket. So it goes to show that if they're the ones that are talking about it more, they're actually actively, whether they're doing it or considering it or have done it, they're actively making these decisions to stay young at a young age, which is what's imperative.
Oh, yeah, it's what I wish I could go back to my 20-something and go start doing this. You're going to feel fabulous. Yeah, I found it probably just the right time for me.
Yeah.
And I think when I'm 60, I hope I'm still running around.
Yeah.
But, nothing is for certain. But yeah, I just think in 20 years' time, they will be the generation that are fit, healthy, and they'll help reduce the NHS bills because they're not going to see the NHS because they don't need it.
Yeah. I've got a friend of mine, and one of his, I say the word goals quite loosely, but one of his outlooks is that he, and I use this term loosely, he genuinely believes and will live to well over 100, closer to 150, right? Now, so this is very Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
And when I first heard it, I sort of thought, okay, I mean, I'm never going to knock the guy if that's his outlook on things. I don't really understand how. I don't really understand if that's even possible. Do we have the technology and such? But actually, if you're 100% on top of it, now I'm not going to say you could live to 150, but if you do everything towards being alive for longer and staying healthier for longer, then that's the answer. Because I don't know, apart from the unfortunate cases where we have unexpected sudden deaths, I don't know many people in my circle that have passed away at the end of their life, great health.
Yeah.
There are some sporadic random things I completely understand, but a lot of people deteriorate as they go towards. So if you can prolong that period that you deteriorate as far away from you as possible, then surely that is the answer to longevity, isn't it?
Exactly that.
That's insane.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to become and have become and am a longevity specialist.
Yeah. I love that name as well. It's such a good name. Longevity specialist. So it's open to everyone. Obviously, not necessarily the younger you are, the better it will work, but the earlier you start, the more time you have with it, right?
Absolutely. And it makes sense.
Yeah. So what sort of age would you say should be considering this sort of thing now?
You know what? I'll just give you for instances.
Yeah.
So I currently have, I don't know, at least 10, 20 young, mainly female. We're talking 23 is the youngest, 26, swear by it. They have NAD, they have double doses of NAD,
right,
and they are having it twice a month.
Wow.
That's the max you can have from me. And they adore it. They are the ones that are phoning me up. And I'm like, cool, yeah. It's the glutathione. Again, if you're a sporty, it's again, you will heal better. You will recover better. All the things, if you're doing marathons, you're into all of that, do all of this and you'll feel great, not 5 days after, but a day or two after.
Wow.
You don't need to be just running and fatiguing. Get this in your body, you will not fatigue as quickly. You will recover quicker. Like you can add other things.
Yeah.
Your red light, that's a great one.
Yeah, that's new as well, isn't it?
So the research on that it's now, going through the roof, and it really does aid in everything, especially recovery. And get on even for your skin, going to the aesthetic side, it helps. It boosts your collagen. It opens the capillaries. So that's a great one if you want at home. You've got...
These are the masks as well,
Those are the masks, yeah. I would go full body.
Yeah.
And do that once a day or twice a week. Just get on it and you will see, again, your recovery rates drastically decrease.
Okay, so...
or increase, sorry.
Yeah,
increase.
Of course, drastically. Yeah, okay. So would it be right in saying, because I've never seen a full body one, is it just like red light sunbeds to some extent?
It's exactly that.
Right, okay. And
I think they even have them in sunbed shops.
Well, oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I've not seen one yet.
Yeah.
And I know that
you
we'll
can buy
get
them
onto...
at home as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I know technology is available for that sort of thing. I didn't know it was of that scale. And I know we'll get onto the vitamin bar because that is something that's kind of like... Everything you've explained to date is something that you're putting into one business and available for everyone. It's a package business, if you will, and that is called the vitamin bar. I presume this is something that when you have a location that may be fixed, that you might have in your shop.
Well, yeah, it has been discussed. You would have, if you were going to do it like that, you would probably have the infrared, red light. I would probably have a cryo there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, both of those, just again for the healing, are just that good. Along with your vitamin injections, I'd throw in a advanced chiropractor. I mean that in the way that you would need to see someone that is going to adjust you, and you're going to hear a crack, because we want to get that spine moving properly.
Yeah.
You need those fixations unfixed to allow the body to self-heal, and also absorb better. If your circulation and your nervous system are at their highest, everything else you do on top will be quicker into you. And that's another thing. That's why you do your chiro session first, and then you have the vitamin injections, because you've opened up everything. So the circulation's firing again, the nervous system's firing again. It's a really good one. I've had probably 1 in 10 in my lifetime. You get this. They will either feel, once I've done a full body adjustment, they will either feel knackered because their systems just turns on floods and they're just exhausted. They'll pass out for a couple of hours, and this is later on at home. Don't worry.
When he says pass out, he means be tired, not just drop out.
You're not going to be in a car and oh my God. But, or they get elated.
Yeah.
They have this huge burst of energy, because again, the system is firing.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that come back and go, oh my God, what did you do?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's
you're welcome.
It's a reboot,
right? Well, this is it. So your body, as a whole system, a whole organ, has an amount of fuel, and when you readjust to the way it's supposed to be, obviously that fuel needs to then be flooded around the body to make everything work. So that is kind of part of the more tiredness side of things. That's the reaction, which I might just add as well. Neither are wrong. It doesn't. No. One's not better than the other. It's just how your body reacts.
Yeah.
And then once you've had this and your system is all going, then you can look into the jabs, which are because they're not cosmetic, are they?
No, they're not cosmetic.
Obviously, Botox is, but that's a whole nother.
That's very different. These are, So the reason I picked your NAD, glutathione, your B complex, there's almost zero side effects.
Right.
Your NAD is just. What's the best way to describe it? You would have to put so much in your body to have an adverse reaction that you would just never do that.
Right.
You would only ever have 1 mil, 2 mil at any one time in an IM, which won't give you as much as an IV in one dose, but you also won't have the reaction you would have for an IV after. That's why we do it that way. That's why you could have a couple of jabs a month with that. Same with the glutathione. You could put 5 mil in and you still probably wouldn't have an adverse reaction. But we don't do that. You put in 1 mil over a month, you can have a couple of those as well. Your B complex, your body needs about 1 mil.
Yeah.
That's it. You have that. All your Bs in your body. You can have 4 weeks. Sometimes, depending on the individual, size matters, how deficient you are matters. You could have a couple and build up. Same with vitamin D. Same with vitamin C. You can have a couple at the beginning and then build and elongate them out later on. But there's nothing. Botox is. So Botox is a paralytic.
Right.
It paralyzes the muscle. It's a chemical you're putting in.
Yeah.
That's not what these are. These are as natural as they can come. They're still from a pharmacy. The pharmaceutical company makes them.
Yeah.
It's not some herbal guy making these and we're injecting them in. They are all fully manufactured.
Yeah.
So they fall in that in between. It's not your full wellness, but it's definitely not your Botox, your fillers, and your it's in that middle ground where, quite frankly, it's not a bad place to be in.
No, of course.
You can still have it and feel, I haven't quite gone to that next step, which I know puts people off. The minute you say an injection to people, oh no.
Yeah.
But actually, if you look at it, It's a great way of looking at it. So vitamins that you take every day, your supplements.
Yeah.
It's a pill. You put that in your mouth, and by the time, if it's a cheap one, it probably goes through there and it'll be coming out there exactly the same way it went in.
Yeah.
It depends on the plastic coating, it depends on how they were manufactured. The more expensive ones have better absorption rates.
Yeah.
But again, you're looking at maybe 30% absorption rate, and you're putting one of those in every day. I'm saying it is basically, it's just an injectable form of those that you're happy to put in your mouth, but I'm putting it in your arm.
Yeah.
It's the needle that puts people off, but it's exactly the same stuff, but it's almost 98% absorbable.
Wow.
It'll be in you in and around your system in 2 hours. It's quick, it's easy, you don't have to think about it every day. Forget your vitamin injection. You don't have to worry about your acid, the acid in your tummy, whether it'll break it down. You don't have to worry about your gut health and whether it's strong enough to even break it down as well.
Right.
So you've got a lot of things that have to happen for a pill to get in your body, and a lot of tablets to take to get it round.
Okay.
Whereas
So,
the injection, just boom, it's
well,
there.
It's something I've only just kind of realised. There is obviously a bit of a, it's a bit taboo, injections, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a bit of strange. But the actual facts are, let's just take vitamin C, for example, right? You can take vitamin C tablets, and there's a version of that in a jab, right?
Yep.
That's part of probably a number of them. They're both manufactured.
Yeah.
So this isn't natural vitamin C. Yes, you can eat an orange, I think is what they say, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, go. I mean, if you want to have tons of oranges, that's fine.
Yeah.
And do that.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. But not many people want to have that many oranges.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you there'll be a lot of sugar, so you'll actually probably have a slight reaction to the sugar that's going around your system with all the orange juice you take.
Yeah.
That sugar's not in an injection.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's going to be really interesting to see, because that taboo we mentioned about having a jab, whatever, I think is really wearing off. And I say this very carefully, but I do think that outlook is the majority of the older generation.
Yeah.
Having a jab, that's not good for you, is it? Well, everyone did it as soon as COVID came, didn't they? So,
But let's
who knew what was in that?
Look at jabs, right? Which don't hurt, as in you have jabs throughout your life. They're vaccines or they're flu jabs.
Yeah.
They hurt.
Yeah.
They actually do. It's an active thing they're putting in. It makes you feel like crap as well for 24, 48 hours after.
Yeah.
Some of them even worse.
Yeah.
So your body is like, it's you remember the feeling not having that.
Yeah.
This isn't like that. This one is, yes, it's an injection, but if you can get your head around that part, the rest is pretty good. Yes, some of them do hurt, and I'm not saying your glutathione doesn't. Your NAD does hurt a bit. It's not quite as bad as a dead arm, but it does feel, you can feel it there. And that's why everyone wants them in their arms. Again, everyone has them in their arm because they think that's where they should have them.
Do you know where it comes from? The BCG.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. Everyone's like, oh, okay, go on then. But and then, do you remember everyone's got those scars there?
Yeah.
But there's no scars from these jabs. No. I've seen your needles. They're tiny.
Yeah. And also as well, if you get away from the arm, have it in your glute, have it in your butt.
Yeah.
It's a bigger muscle.
Yeah.
You can walk it off. So if it feels a bit dead, walk around for a minute. It won't. It's gone.
Yeah.
And there's just a bit more there than
in
you
most
are.
people anyway. It depends who you are, of course. There might be more there for some people.
And so, I just say, have it there. I literally, every patient I have now convinced, and this is 100% on all of them, I go, have it there, not in the arm. They all ask for it in the arm first. Oh, it hurt a bit for you. And then you do it then, that totally different.
Oh, is it done?
And they're like, yeah. And also, you can't look at it. People, when they can see it coming, it's, again, that mindset. Where is it done? It's, you've done it. Totally different. Again, it's a better place to have it done.
Have a little prick in your bum cheek. That's all you need. Small prick in the bum. Many people have had it in their time, so I highly recommend it. Okay, so I'll ask you this, then we'll get on to the vitamin bar. You've got your chiropractic qualification, and your recommendation is to get that if you wanted the full package, and then from there you can get the jabs because your body is then a better canvas to have everything for, right? If that wasn't the case,
it's a skill I have.
Yeah.
So I'm using my skill, and I'm fully using it to my advantage.
Of course, yeah.
But it is the theory behind chiropractic.
Yeah.
And it's like, why shouldn't I? I'm specialised. I'm actually quite good at adjusting.
Yeah.
An art form that does seem to be depleting somewhat.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm like, right, well, that helps. This with that is even better.
Yeah.
And again, like we go back to the rigidity. The closer you are to death, the more stiff you are.
Yeah.
Well, chiropractic helps with mobility. So it helps you move, you know, it stops those, you know, I had a patient, it was my best anecdote that I tell a lot of clients.
Right.
I was working down in Bournemouth, and he had been to see everyone. I can't remember how many specialists or people he had seen, but I was about 10th on his list.
Right.
Oh, just go try it. Or a friend had said, go try it.
Right.
And he'd had neck stiffness and pain, and he could literally only move it maybe 10, 15 degrees either side.
Yeah.
It made him angry. He just made him an angry person.
Yeah.
And anyway, one adjustment, just one on the bench, and crack. And he got up. He could move full range both sides. He literally went off on one. I thought, what have I done?
Yeah.
I shit myself. I was like, oh my God, what has just happened? He hugged me by the end. He was so angry at his GPs and the specialists he had been to that never even said, go think about it as an option. He would have been quite happy if they didn't like it.
Yeah.
He said they used their personal opinion to just go, no, you don't go and see them, or didn't even mention it about neck stiffness. And he did it. He apparently walked into his GP and gave him an absolute mouthful.
Yeah.
The best thing that came of it, though, I got a letter from the GP saying, I heard you saw my patient. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Actually said to me in a letter, I am sorry that I hadn't recommended more. And after that, any patient with neck, low back pain, he sent my way first.
This is going to start to get a little bit political, so don't comment on this, anyone watching. But I bet that client in Bournemouth, you say?
Yeah.
I bet he was fed hundreds of different medications. All your different medicines and whatever else. Take these, reduce this, take that, add that. And all it needed was, as you said, crack.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend I do it. Yeah. But it just goes to show that... also, one thing I want to come away from as well is chiropractic is 100% natural. You don't add anything to the body or do anything different. You just feel what's right and understand.
Chiropractic means done by hand.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
There you go. I should have known that, really. Now, everyone knows that, Will, you idiot. Okay, right. So that it goes to show that it's 100% away from anything abnormal, if you like. So go and get... So that's the order. You get the chiropractic stuff done. If anyone was not wanting that or anything, what order or what pack of these jabs would you say go together? Where do you start?
Well, I literally, like I did the research, and the three together, I call them something, but I've been told I shouldn't call them that because of religious things.
Oh, God,
but,
okay, right. Well, you can say it on here if you want.
I call them the Holy Trinity.
Oh, that's fine.
NAD.
If anyone comments on that, cough, honestly. Come on.
NAD, glutathione, B complex.
Yeah.
I did it once a month, and that's where my metabolic age dropped. I felt great. You can have double that. You can double dose on that bar the B complex, and if you really, really were going for it, I would go with your NAD, your glutathione twice. I'd have your B complex in one of those sessions, and then I'd throw in a vitamin C in one of those sessions.
Okay, yeah.
But if you wanted to add on top, if you're not in the sun, especially in the winter months, I'd throw in a vitamin D.
Because that's what everyone's... Yeah.
Now, vitamin D is a hard one because, one, it's hard to get hold of, actually, IM injections, because the tablets are that good.
Right.
They're so potent. They have done so much research, God knows why they picked vitamin D. But well, I do know, we don't have any sun.
Yeah.
But the tablet form is that good.
Okay.
But again, it's once a day.
Yeah.
Every day. And that will, I'm throwing it out there. You don't have to have a jab. There is an equivalent. But again, it's taking one once a day.
Yeah. So how long? So if you take one once a day for 30 days, is that equivalent to one jab a month?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool. So it's quite a nice balance. So I'm sorry to ask this. NAD plus. Well, I don't know what the plus is for, but NAD plus.
You're gonna. You bastard.
What does it mean?
Nicotinamide, adenine, dinonucleotide.
Right.
Now, anyone else, that could be wrong, but it's the way, I'm dyslexic, by the way, so you've really got to
Careful.
I could pull stuff.
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't really mean anything
That's
to the
why I
average
love it's
user.
called NAD.
Yeah, exactly.
So much easier.
B complex is the B vitamin complex.
Yes. So it's lots of Bs.
Yeah.
Again, they're all different. You need to look to see which Bs are in the jab.
Right.
Because a lot of them might not have B12 in.
Right.
And the first version I got didn't have B12 in. So I had B12 on the side.
Yeah.
So you then have. It's
Jab,
quite
jab.
hard.
Yeah.
So then I now sourced one with B12 in it.
Okay.
But there are people that don't want all the Bs.
Right.
So I do B12 as well.
You have a fridge full of bottles, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. Medical fridge,
It's the
obviously.
top shelf.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
It used to be champagne. No.
Now it's just medical stuff,
yeah,
right? Okay. And the Bs are, what would you say they're the best for? This is immune health?
Quite frankly, they're the good ones. They're the ones for immune health, energy, sleep. If you really, all you forget, aging, forget detox, Bs.
Yeah.
That's the one. If you, for general health, just have one of those.
Okay, cool.
Then you add on your antioxidants, then you add on your anti-agers. Though, and again, though, all three have very similar effects. It's quite hard when patients ask, well, what do they all do? Because there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
There is. If you've got a Venn diagram, those circles are very much close together.
Yeah.
But that holy trinity is that bit in the middle of the Venn
of course.
diagram.
So everything's added to each other,
So
and it's not overdosing on one thing.
Exactly. And that's it. They work together beautifully.
That makes sense. And the last one was
Glutathione.
glutathiol. And this one is for?
That's an antioxidant. Pollutants, smoking, all of that crap that comes in.
A lot of it in our food as well.
Yeah.
Because it's all processed shit.
All sorts. It gets rid of that crap that comes in. I'm trying to be as non-scientific as possible with it, but that is the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's a detoxifier. It gets rid of the stuff that's the nasties.
Okay.
I would call it the nasties. The nasties that come into the body, it gets rid of those. It's very good for the skin as well.
Yeah.
So people with acne, things like that. That again with you can throw vitamin C in with that.
Yeah.
Because again, those two work well for an overall skin glow.
I was going to say, because vitamin C is now, I say now, in the last couple of years, maybe more so in the last 6 months, for what I've seen, vitamin C as a serum on the face is a big thing now.
It works.
Yeah.
It does. And again, why vitamin C isn't in the Holy Trinity? It's a bit painful.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Full medical grade vitamin C, it hurts. It hurts. I've done it on myself.
Right.
And even I get a bit shaky when I'm doing it on myself. You're gonna feel it for a while.
When we talk about painful, because I know there's different size needles that can be used.
Yeah.
But I presume for all of these things, they're all very similar sizes, right?
Yeah, you've got mean people and you've got non-mean people.
Okay. So where's the pain coming from? Is it from the actual solution?
No, it's the solution.
Okay, so it's more of a sting sort of thing?
It's a deep throb.
Right, okay.
That lasts.
Lucky you.
Yeah. But it lasts.
Right, really?
Yeah. Look, I still have one a month.
Yeah.
I can get my head around it.
You do it yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's another level, isn't it? Injecting yourself.
Yeah. Well, have you seen, Landman, the new series?
No,
on
not yet.
Paramount?
No, I have heard it's
Which
good.
I actually really liked, because I think it is in the opening scene. He's in the bathroom and it shows what he's having, and NAD plus he's injecting. I think glutathione is there as
Right,
well.
okay.
I can't remember. He's injecting that through it. That's exactly. I just inject into that.
So that's the best advert for you, Landman.
Yeah.
Watch it. Is it the Landman? Is it?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is that right? Yeah.
His name's Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. It's the same. I don't know why I'm promoting this.
Yeah.
It's the same writer who did Yellowstone. Yellowstone.
Okay, yeah. Some good stuff then. We'll give that a watch as well after this. Okay, so we've talked through the whole Holy Trinity. Obviously, your chiropractic stuff you do as well. There are many other things. Cosmetics, I don't think we really need to speak that much about Botox. We understand that it's
there.
a paralytic that relaxes muscles, so shows less wrinkles. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The reason, I'm qualified in it, so again, I might as well tell people I do it.
Yeah.
The reason I've put this down as part of my longevity specialisms is that chiropractic and vitamin injections are healing the inner body.
Yeah.
You don't see that. Now, some people want to see that.
Yeah.
And that's where aesthetics can help.
Yeah.
I don't go over the top with Botox. I don't do the full freeze. I like to give people some movement still there. But then it's about making them feel and look good. Now, these help with the skin, and you add that on top, and you start looking great. And let's face it, you look great, you feel great.
This is
so it's also mind over matter as well. That's why I add that on. I don't want to have that as part of the longevity thing because
it's not a necessity. But if you want to, I think you mentioned on the phone before as well, is the inside out thing. You feel good and are good on the inside with the chiropractic and the Holy Trinity and any other variants of those. Then if you want to, you can go down the cosmetic route if you want to feel good on the outside as well by, doing things. And I definitely think there was a taboo around Botox because of Joan Rivers and, the people that have just gone crazy with it.
Well, that's not Botox's fault, actually. That's plastic surgeons' faults.
Well, right,
And quite frankly, that's more your fillers in there for the majority of that. Botox didn't do much of that. That just smoothed the wrinkles on the forehead. Yeah. When it's plumped up and filled in, that's filler. That's exactly what it says on the tin. Okay. You fill a hole at home, that's what we're putting in
your face. Right, okay. And elsewhere. Okay, cool. So let's go on to the topic of the vitamin bar. The vitamin bar is your business in which all of the previous aforementioned things are available. Currently, at the location of the client is one of the options.
That is true, yeah. So that's where we've gone with it at the moment. We do at-home visits, or the big one is at-home
work.
At office visits. So we come in, we'll give a talk. Now, don't get me wrong, 9 times out of 10, if you've got an HR in the firm, it ain't happening. Right. Because they hear needle and they go, not a chance. Yeah. So unfortunately, I've got mates who own their companies. They put it down to their HR and they just get an email back, sod off. Yeah. Not happening. I'm fine with that. That's not a problem. But the ones that do want us in, so probably smaller firms, we come in and everyone can have an injection. Yeah. We can do it literally at their desk if they want, or give us a little room and we take them off and we give the injections and we can come once a month. Again, plug, go onto my website, Dr. George Wellness, and there's a bit on how the stats on illness and what that means to the firm on sick days. Yeah. All of these things help with preventing that. Yeah, of course. I think and it's a huge part of well-being because it's funny, the needle thing with HR, I get it, I don't agree with it because with what they do, I mean by saying no, because if for example, a sports day out going paintballing as a team building exercise, well, that's a lot less safe than having a medical professional do these things to improve somebody's, the longevity and so on and so forth. Whereas paintballing, you lose an eye. Everyone's seen Biker Grove when they were a kid. I can't see. So it's strange, but I think
until it becomes worldwide, when it's accepted by everyone. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh well, no, you go to America, everywhere, absolutely everywhere. They that's what they believe. Your Apple or Silicon Valley will have gone, right. Yeah, we'll do this. They get it in. Everyone has it.
Yeah,
we are just so far behind.
It's a shame, but we're getting there. We are slow, but we are getting there. So, if you have your own business with a few members of staff, and you'd like to consider amplifying the well-being of your staff and team for your benefit and theirs. That's the best thing of it. It doesn't just benefit you, it benefits them as well. Maybe some of your staff feel a bit lethargic at times and they have not had the best track record for health so far. This could be a serious step forward, because my favourite thing about this is when patient A feels a bit crap, hasn't got things right, gets all the fix, the Holy Trinity, all this sort of stuff, and they then see what it feels like to feel good again. They're inspired. They're like, wow, well, let me try the gym. Let me try going on walks. Let me try a better diet. Let me try, because you need to taste good before you can pursue it. Yeah. And that's the most difficult thing. I feel like I like that quote. You need to taste good before you can pursue it. Yeah. And it's more often than not why people that are in the world of sport and that sort of thing do so well, because they see a little bit of, well, hang on, this is great. I love this.
They've been doing it for years as well.
This is it, yeah.
Years. They just don't talk about it. No name drop it. I know that the New Zealand rugby team, for instance, all had B12 shots before match day. Yeah. Because it's an energy boost. So they're going to fatigue. They won't fatigue as quick.
Yeah.
So what is a great thing for a rugby player to have before they go out on the field? Something that they won't fatigue as well, and they're a bit more energised.
Yeah.
And it's natural. It's not illegal. So you're there going, well, of course they all did that.
Yeah.
But, some other team thinks about, oh, no, can't do that.
Yeah.
It's just...
I've seen stuff online. F1 teams are doing it under Aston Martin, under not Red Bull. Who's the other one? Mercedes. Everyone's doing it. I think they were not the main reason they were doing it, but because F1 drivers have to be so nimble and light that it's hard for them to get the right things in their body and stay the right weight. So part of the thing they do is, as you call it, the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, and not only that, it helps with maintaining weight. It's a great weight loss. It helps your metabolism, maintain it. You're not fluctuating up and down. And again, if these guys need to be at certain weights, it just helps all of that. It stabilises the body. It makes sure they've got all the nutrients they have, not just the diet.
Yeah.
And sometimes you look at diets and love a good diet. I'm not saying dieting, good diet. And it's sometimes you just got to eat so much to get it all in. You're just like, and the problem is, you go, what's the point?
Yeah.
That's it. Once you look at a table full of food and I've got to get all of that in here today. One, the cost. I bet you it's more than the vitamin jabs.
Yeah.
And two, you're just like, no, not for me.
Yeah.
Not going to do it.
This is the thing, isn't it? Let's quickly touch base with that, because a lot of people were going, sounds great, sounds fantastic, sounds expensive.
Yeah.
Let's talk through, I know there's not an accurate cost because it depends what each individual wants, but what's the ballpark here? If somebody wants to come and get the Holy Trinity, what's the sort of ballpark you're looking at? So
currently the price plan, which will be changing actually, is we put them all at 70 quid. So each one is 70. You have 2, you have a tenner off, you have 3, you have 20 off.
Right.
It was a simple, easy way of doing it.
Yeah.
Now, if we're coming into businesses, obviously that reduces because it's done on amount of people.
Of course,
we've got to look at how much it costs per sale. And then what we have done now is we know our NAD is about 30 quid cheaper than the best in London.
Right.
They're 100, we're 70. So we know we priced that definitely right. We might even up that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sorry guys. We'll get them quickly now. And we won't do it. Then our B complex with B12 is, I think, priced right at 70, but you'll see a lot of B complexes around the 50,
right?
But I bet you they don't have B12 in, and the B12 will be 35. So you add the two together,
15 quid higher. Yeah, okay, right.
So we are going to bring that down.
Yeah,
probably 50 or 60. Your B12 is your lower one.
Yeah.
Again, 35, 40 quid.
Yeah.
Because it is one. It depends again on the absorption rate. You've got one that costs more for us, which is better for the client, but therefore the price goes up.
Yeah.
And then your glutathione, I think we're going to be looking at 40 to 50.
Right. I think the biggest part of this is, regardless of each individual figure, is hopefully you've got the same outlook as I have. These jabs, for example, the Holy Trinity, these jabs that are incredible at helping you the whole longevity effect and that sort of thing. You'd think they're going to cost you £500 to £1,000.
No.
They don't.
No.
And that's the best thing about it, because it's no more expensive than the cost of gym membership.
No.
It's no. In fact, I've seen some prices in London gym memberships recently, and that's a third of the price. You know, it's very expensive. So yeah, hopefully that's a big eye opener, and it's something that everyone can consider. It's definitely something to get in touch about. Dr. George Wellness is your website.
That's mine.
.co.uk.com.
.com.
We'll put everything below, links below,
Yeah.
and then let's talk about the Vitamin Bar, which currently is remote, but is it right to have a location at some point?
Well, again, we're looking at two things. We can either just do a one-off size of this studio vitamin, where we would come in, you'd have a screen like this. I'm fatigued.
Yeah.
You press on it, it'll tell you these are what we recommend.
Yeah.
And then you go, I'll have those. Boom. Yeah. You sit down. We'll have an injector. You go off into the room. This is what we boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
See you in a month. See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's that concept. So that would be a lot smaller. We can get that in multiple locations a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And then there is a potential for, but more, if it was the Vitamin Bar, it would be the Vitamin Bar Longevity Clinic.
Yeah.
And that one, we touched on it earlier, we would have the red light,
Yeah.
the cryo, the chiro, probably over multiple things that would help in a longevity clinic.
Of course.
The costs to set those up, you've got your high-end ones, which are probably up in the hundreds of thousands, if not more.
Yeah.
And then you've got your mid-table ones. But again, it's finding location.
And of course, you have to pass on the cost as well.
Yeah, and then you are setting that location. Whereas I like the smaller concept works. It's whether people can get their heads around it.
Yeah, I do like the idea, because I know that you go into offices, and I'll let me know whether or not you're allowed to say this. I don't think you will be, but I know you've got some high-profile clients that you go to.
Not mentioned.
Right, okay, cool, okay. Yeah. So any high-profile clients, but you go to them, and then you're able to do their team in a room, and all you have is your medical, like, chiller bag, and and that's how it works. So you're kind of like a modern-day superhero.
Thanks. I will take it. I will tell my son this.
Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic. So get in touch. It's better to get in touch for Vitamin Bar, or for your other website, or either or.
Either or, but you're going to get through to me.
Yeah, of course. You're both ends of it, both of them. Okay, so, fantastic.
Are
there any sort of things that you'd like to add for people to answer any questions that you think that come up a lot, or there might be some unique questions like?
Look, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I've had, again, multiple patients who will have taken them, not for me. I'm all right with that. One, I'd say try it, because you can't knock it until you try it.
Yeah.
The injection itself is not terrifying.
Yeah.
It's just getting your head around it. Again, it's all about technique. I've got a pretty good one. You're in safe hands.
Yeah.
Pun. Sorry. But yeah, just like I said, don't wait until you're ill.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Start doing something. It doesn't have to be this, doesn't have to be chiro. It can be all sorts.
Yeah.
But do well health, not ill health. Because if you do well health, you will, even if you get a nasty, you'll catch it early.
Yeah.
So you will live longer.
Yeah.
So yes, in theory, we are making people live longer just by saying, go, get yourself checked out, or go start these injections, go see a chiro for just a postural analysis.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they all do free ones.
Yeah.
So you can just go and check your local chiro and see who will do a free consult.
Yeah.
But honestly, when they work, Jesus, they work well.
Yeah.
And I know that's why I did this. I didn't do it just because someone told me they work well.
Yeah.
I did it because my metabolic age went from this to this.
Yeah.
I felt great in a time of life where I know a lot of my friends have got older kids, and they were like, they're knackered constantly. And I was like, feeling it that much. And I was getting just as much sleep. You know, my little one was not good.
Yeah.
He woke up all the time. We did, you know, round robin shifts. But it's just getting your head around the fact of wanting to take that step forward, to be more energized, get better sleep, not have that cloud, knowing you're investing in your longevity of being healthier.
Yeah.
So you might still die at 70, 80, 90, whatever the stats say, but you may have had a fucking great life.
Yeah, you'll feel much better
that,
for it. Yeah.
that point.
Yeah, of course. There's something I want to add as well. The jabs that I've had from you before, is it right? I've had the vitamins.
You've had the Holy Trinity,
Right, I've had
which
the Holy
you're
Trinity.
going to have after this. as well.
Yeah, okay. Now, this is how I explain it to people. I was talking to someone outside the studio earlier on and explain, what is it? How do you feel? The way I put it is, even though I don't drink anymore, after the jabs, I felt like previous to the jabs, I'd had a hangover the whole time.
Yeah.
So like that kind of sluggish, crappy feeling, the jabs made me feel like I am the version of myself I should be feeling like. And now it's just a case of upkeeping it.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic because I've got a High Rocks at the weekend. So this works out perfect timing. Might even set a world record. I'm joking. I'm never going to do that.
Well, that's the thing. And that's a great way to actually test these things as well. I say, so off the vitamin onto Chiro, golfers.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Come get an adjustment and then go play around.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I can say this, I mean, it's a totally made up stat, but 9 out of 10 or 4 out of 5 hit the ball longer.
Yeah.
Because their spine is freer. And when you see on TV, Tiger Woods has had it a couple of times being adjusted. I think Podrick Harrington got a picture in the paper years ago being adjusted. When they say, oh, and there's the physio, it's not the physio, it's the chiro that is coming out.
Yeah.
And we just don't get mentioned. The ones doing the adjustments are the qualified for 5 years chiropractors that do that. And they're the ones that they are calling out to sort that crick in their neck out quickly and then play around a golf. So that's the chiro.
Yeah.
Tennis as well, more rotation. And then with the vitamin injections, do that.
Yeah.
Have them, go do your event and see how you feel after and your recovery time. And then you're like, if it works, you know it works then.
Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then at least you've convinced yourself, you might still not want to do them, but at least you know they work.
Yeah, well, this is it, you know. And I think, like we said before, investing in yourself is the key these days. And the nice thing to know is, and I really don't like saying things like this because I don't drink. I don't want people to go, all right, we're good at you don't. It's not about that. The point I'm making is, for the same price that the average person spends going out on a piss up every month, you can have these jabs. And I'm not saying you should do one instead of the other. I'm just making the point out there. Just have a look into it. Just try it once. My opinion is it's fucking fantastic. Hopefully it works the same for you. So make sure you check it out as well. Dr. George Wellness. .co.uk.com. We'll put the link below. And the vitaminbar.co.uk. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. Make sure you get in touch with them. All of this stuff, all of these artworks are online as well.
Yeah, everything.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Dr. George, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate it. And we'll hopefully catch up again soon. Next time you see me, I'll look half the age. Do you know what I need to do is find out my metabolic age now?
Yeah.
And then do it after.
Again, another one. You've got to invest a year in that.
Yeah.
The problem is, we were saying, oh, maybe we should do that as a thing. The problem is I can't control the individual.
Yeah.
So I can't know that they're not going on the piss for a week or 2 weeks.
You've got to want to sort it out for yourself.
And smoke and stuff. And, and then they go, oh, my metabolic age didn't come down. Well, you kind of screwed that one up.
You were on a piss up for 3 weeks. So, okay, cool. Well, listen, get in touch. Make sure you drop a message over if you need anything. Final words, Dr. George?
Thank you all for listening. And honestly, if you need any questions, anything, email me on my website, or quite frankly, I think my phone number's on there. WhatsApp me as well, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you want me out in this area,
we're in Essex, by the way, just in case you didn't know. It's Essex and London he covers.
You would need to have a few of you. It can't just be a one-off. But yeah, 3 or 4 of you, and I'd happily travel out to come and see you. Do the jabs. I'll even bring my Chiro bench. I can do that portable as well. So yeah.
I can't wait to see most of Essex being like, oh, I feel great now. This is fantastic. It's going to be good. Okay. One last thing I wanted to say as well. There's no stupid questions. There is no, because I often ask you, like, what does that mean? How does this work? So if you might be thinking, like, oh, I might sound like an idiot if I ask him that, he's really good at making you feel very comfortable, even if you're stupid like me. So there are no stupid questions. So get in touch, vitaminbar.co.uk, drgeorgewellness.co.uk.com. All the links are below. And yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks
We'll see you again soon, and I'll be 25 again.
Chase you.